best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
God bless you, Anson. Welcome into Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. My boy Anson Wells is stepping in on this Thursday, which is actually a beautiful Thursday because it wasn't as much snow as we thought. Anson, what's going on, brother?
All-Star Weekend.
This is true. All-Star Weekend, which typically falls on my birthday, so I always get excited about that. Somebody else's birthday typically falls on my man Thomas Masway, February 18th.
Yes, sir.
What's
Close.
going on, big man?
Hey, fellas, beautiful day out there. I think we got about 8 inches of snow in St. Clair Shores.
Yeah, we got a lot of snow, but I think the good thing was the roads were clear. So, like,
Yeah,
in the
they were
neighborhoods,
prepped.
there was a lot of snow, but,
They were
like, on the
prepared.
roads, they did it. Shout out to the men and women that were out there shoveling that snow for companies and everything. Like, they put it, like, as soon as I went to the gym early this morning, man, there was no snow on the road.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Hey,
Shout out to them.
We can handle it, right? Let's just get rid of it now. I'm ready for spring training.
I'm ready for spring training, too, and we got some news on those Detroit Tigers. And I got some questions. Did we dodge a bullet? But before we do all that, even though he's got the hat on, I saw the cut earlier. It's the fire cut. My man Ricky Burns in the building.
I'm mad you noticed because my schedule changed. It's been hard to get to the barbershop. You know how you have a certain set
100%.
schedule, and as soon as it changes, that was one of the things that kind of got sacrificed. But yeah, we back at it. The area is cut.
Men
But it's
don't men don't have to have a lot. Fresh cut is one thing I think all men we really appreciate it. We want you to take notice, and I do. Speaking of a man that doesn't have any hair, Peace Pipe back. What's going on, brother?
Speaking of the fresh cuts,
Crispy is cut of them all.
The crispy baldy, I like it. I like
Looks
it.
like Lex Luthor.
you got it.
The ball
I said
brotherhood.
the same thing.
Yeah,
That's
that
two,
ball
2
brotherhood.
for 2. The ball
He's got the
brother.
now, for sure.
I'm just holding on.
I'm gonna be over there before you know it, man.
I
Mine
appreciate
get
it.
thinner by the day.
Don't put that energy in the world. Energy is real. That hair start falling a little bit more
I'm
fast.
holding on to scraps from a once proud society of hair.
That's correct, Tommy. Thank you.
I feel bad. I'm over here sporting this current tribe,
Hey,
but I think we're doing
it's
I
all
miss
pretty
your fro,
good.
Bray.
Last
the
night,
fro.
Maz, NHL All-Star Game, they introduced the 4 countries. It's 4 countries. What is it exactly called?
It's called the four
4 countries?
Four
No.
nations.
Four
Nations.
Nations. Four Nations.
game.
4 Nations tournament. All right,
I
cool.
knew it the whole time until you asked me.
So I tuned into a little bit of it. Didn't watch the whole thing, but I tuned into it, and I had an idea. I'm watching Canada. No, excuse me. They played tonight. I was watching.
Canada
No, you
plays.
weren't.
All right, Canada and Sweden last night. They go in overtime. It's 3-3. Like the intensity in this game was that of the Olympics. The intensity was that of I actually care about this. Like I want to beat this other team because I'm representing. We keep trying to find ways. Speaking of what you love so most, the All-Star Game. We keep finding ways to make this work. Where can we get the level of intensity? Where can we raise it so that the people that
Think
are
I know where
watching
you're
the
going.
games, they can watch the game and say, yo, look, they're putting on a show. Yo, there's intense. They care. What if the All-Star Game became North America? Notice what I did there. North America versus the world for the All-Star Game.
I love it.
Like, because you cannot tell me if this is Wemby on the team with Luka, on the team
Yeah.
with Giannis, on the team with Jokic, that they are not trying to kill the USA because they believe that they're better anyway.
Amen.
Now the USA, they have to step up. Jason Tatum has to step up. Anthony Edwards has to step up. KD, insert players. I like this format.
I love that.
And notice why I said North America, because if we gave them Canada too, it wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
Well,
If we added Canada to the world, then it gets a little dicey.
yeah, for sure. It's got to be North America.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thoughts?
I like that. We were talking earlier. I still think that Russia got jobbed. Russia should have a team in the Nations tournament. But in terms of the NBA All-Star Weekend,
Telling you, man.
I have not been excited or cared about this game for 15 years or more.
Why do you care?
I care because of this new format.
Okay.
You've got, first and foremost, you've got 4, actually, is it 4? Yeah, 4 teams in the rookie-sophomore game, all right? The winner on Saturday moves forward to Sunday, and they take on LeBron, Steph Curry, James Harden. Do you think that LeBron and Steph Curry and James Harden and the rest of those vets on that team want to lose to a bunch of first and second year players on All-Star Weekend?
So is Osai Thompson on that?
Well, you're getting ahead of me, but I will already tell you who's winning on Saturday night. And it is the Thompson brothers, Amen and Asar, who are on the same team together. And then they've got 2 sets of teammates, Bub and Bilal from the Washington Bullets. I'll just call them that.
I like that.
And then Scoot and one of my favorite guys that nobody
From
really
Portland.
knows yet, but you guys better have him on your radar, one of the best two-way young players in the league, Toumani Kamara. So then you add in an Ease Missy, guy from Cameroon. That is a defensive stalwart team, and I think that the comfortability between all the guys on that team, they're going to be playing on Sunday. But now you look, those teams on Sunday got picked by the TNT boys.
Yeah.
Shaq,
We have
Barkley,
that, Pete. Why don't you
and
put
I
Kenny.
got it, buddy.
Yep.
Thanks.
And so you see Chuck win all big.
And let's leave it up.
Shaq win all
zoom in.
vets. And then Kenny took the team that I love because my 3 favorite players in the NBA are on that team. You guys know I love
Cade.
me some J-Dub,
Yeah,
Ant-Man,
we-
and then Killer Cade.
We all know the smartest man on that desk is Kenny, the Jet Smith.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And what he did was he got a bunch of young, two-way, 3 and D players and bigs. I have a feeling that the intensity that those guys are going to bring out on Sunday, led by an Anthony Edwards who's barely in the play-in right now. Like, his team is not playing the way he had hoped. That trade did not work out for them.
Blame the front office.
And he is going to come out serious. But the best part about these games, everyone, is they are played to 40 points. So no taking off a first half. No, okay, well, maybe it's close in the last 5 minutes of the fourth. Maybe we'll actually play now. These older cats, these vets are going to come out and they're going to be playing a young team that's going to be after them. And then the other grouping, they're going to have to get caught up in it as well. That final game, I don't know what the purse is or what the bragging rights are, but I think that this will be one of the most stiff competition games that we will see in All-Star game for nearly 20 years. The last good one I can think of is 2005.
And that'll be on Sunday.
That'll be on Sunday. But the play-in games, that rookie, sophomore, that tournament's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see who comes out of it.
Speaking of the All-Star matchups, later on, stay tuned because Anson Wells has his Top 10 Thursday where he, I'll let him tell you later, so stay tuned for that. Detroit Pistons, since we're talking basketball, let's dive into them. 2 days ago, they beat the Chicago Bulls by 40 points, and everybody's like, now they got to go to Chicago. It'll slow down a little bit, including myself. The Bulls will win this somehow, some way. No, sir, no way. Pistons win by 18, and they go now into the All-Star break 29-26, and in the 6th spot right now, just behind the Milwaukee Bucks by 2 games.
We're up to 4th place.
100%. And that's actually where I wanted to get to, but Anson, I'll give you first crack at it. How are you with the Detroit Pistons right now at the All-Star break? They sit 29-26.
Well, it's tough to beat the same team 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, it is.
In any sport. The fact that these guys held serve at home and then went on the road the next night and absolutely did what they were supposed to, they are entering the midway point, the All-Star weekend, in exactly the right way. They're not going down on a low. They see the teams right in
We'll let you
front
know
of
they
them.
care.
Absolutely. And, I mean, you can see it on the court how much this team cares. But Asar Thompson is emerging. A guy that was forgotten last year, that was injured in the offseason. This guy is making such a difference that I don't know who's going to sit when Jaden Ivey gets healthy, to be quite honest with you.
I don't think he'll be back this year.
If it doesn't happen this year, it'll be easier. But if it does happen this year, you're going to have to either sit Tim Hardaway Jr. or you're going to have to sit Asar. And this team is just better defensively and in the open court, fast break style basketball when they have Asar Thompson on the court. So I'm sticking to my guns. Last 2 games of the season are going to determine a lot for this team. They got the last 2 games against Milwaukee, a team that I don't see us matching up very well with. That very well may determine the number 5 and 6 seed in the Eastern Conference.
Asar Thompson is definitely starting to come along athletic. I think one of the big things people didn't pay attention to is the injuries, the time off, him still being a young guy. It takes a second. You see his brother, and you're like, man, where's he going to do? Well, finally, he's getting into a groove. He's getting more minutes. Night. 100%. And that's, Braz, where I bring it to you. Cade Cunningham, he is on this All-Star squad. He will be a part of Kenny the Jet Smith team. Last night, 29-7-5. He is continuing the momentum that has him, in my opinion, an all-pro in this league.
No doubt. He's a superstar. I told you, man. I love this team. I love their makeup. I love everything about this team. No, they're probably not going to win the championship. But you know what? Anson hit it on the head. They could win a playoff series. Mm-hmm. The way they're playing now, they could win a playoff series. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how they grow. I told you guys, you got to get down to Little Caesars when they're home. You got to. Go watch the games. They'll even look better when you're there. Better than watching them on TV. The bench is standing up. It's really great. I love the way this team is coached. Last year was the lowest point, I think, in me watching basketball. And this year they hooked me right back in. So I'm really looking forward to the second half, and I'm actually looking forward just to get to the playoffs and see how good this team could be.
Maz, you mentioned that you think that this team is capable of a first-round upset.
Yes.
And we talked on Tuesday, and you saw there in the standings, that's a first-round matchup with your New York Knicks.
Yep. Unless they move up.
How does this team match up with them? Because I'm looking, and I see a Sarr guarding your boy Brunson.
Yeah.
And then
That's a toughie.
their number 2 rebounder is 6'4". Now, Josh Hart does average 9+ rebounds a game, but if you've got Cade, 6'7" Cade on Josh Hart, all of a sudden you only got one guy rebounding out there. I think it all comes down to Cat and how he plays.
You hit it on the head. Cat is the key to the Knicks. The Knicks went as far as they could last year. They just ran out of bodies like the Lions did, and they ran out of gas against the Pacers. This year, I really believe that they're going to be better as they head into the playoffs. I hope they don't play the Knicks. I hope the Pistons don't play the Knicks. I want to see them move up to 5 or 4. Get the hell away from them. Who would that wind up with then? Pete, put those standings up
Either
again.
Indy or Milwaukee.
Indy or Milwaukee.
I'd rather play the Pacers.
That would be a really,
They
really
already don't
great
like
series.
each other.
No, they
I'd
hate
love
each
to
other.
see that.
Yeah,
That's the one. That's what I want to see.
the only thing about that for me is I don't know if the Pistons' temperament or their mental is ready for a series against Indiana. Not skill-wise. I'm saying that fighting stuff, like Indiana they're a veteran team now.
They learned from the last game because they went in wanting to fight.
Okay,
and they blew that game.
That would just be my nervousness, if any. Ricky, we've talked about this Pistons. This is a team that you're now starting to dial into. This is the first time you dialed in 20 years. What I see from them is everybody's getting involved. Last night they had 7 guys that had 12 or more. 7 guys, and don't get me wrong, Dennis Schroeder had 9 in 18 minutes.
Yeah, and what's the one thing I noticed and I love, they're having fun too while they're doing it. They're having a great time and they're making it look easy. It was the point where at the beginning of the game where it was still kind of close with Chicago, and I was like, yo, they blew them out yesterday. What's going on? They didn't waver from their plan. They just went ahead and did their thing. I'm loving it, man. I'm having a great time. Thanks, Mass, for
You're
forcing
welcome,
me to
bro.
watch
I'm glad to bring you back in. But the teams they played, let's face it, they're dogs.
Yeah.
This Bulls team is dumping. You can see they have no heart at all, 0 heart. And then they played the Sixers. The Sixers, they're not what they used to be.
Was Cleveland dumping?
Pardon?
Was Cleveland dumping?
No, you're right. They played well against Cleveland. But Cleveland was coming off a game against Boston.
Very true.
That game. And
it's
they
the
had
NBA.
him. And who were they missing that night?
Donovan Mitchell.
They were missing Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And on a 4-game slide, they didn't want to lose 5.
Right. That's what I'm just saying.
It's very true.
There's winnable matchups out there. But as far as the dumping goes, the Bulls are right up there with the number 1 team for dumping.
And I would.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you're absolutely right. They are playing some teams that they should be, but the thing is, man, they're beating them. And in those games in which they shouldn't win, they're right there.
Yes.
They're knocking on the door, so I really like that intensity. Stay
buzzer
tuned
beater
also.
losses.
Brandon Kool-aid Dent will be joining us. We'll be talking to him, talking more about these Pistons. You know, he is at LCA. And also, he's actually out in San Francisco at Chase, so we'll be talking to him live from the All-Star game, Anson.
Just to talk about the schedule that we have left, 27 games left. 17 of those are against teams at 500 or better.
Do you know how many are home out of that 27?
No, I don't. I can get that for you by the time we come back. But that it's going to be a tough road. Like we got a lot of. We had more bad teams than good teams in this stretch since that first month disappeared, and they've really been playing above 500 ball. So their work is cut out for them. But as you guys mentioned, they're having fun. Mm-hmm. They're playing hard, and that team chemistry is real. I talked
totally real.
I talked on Tuesday about having to give Troy Weaver some love, because what I saw last night in a specific play at the end of the game, Cade throws a lob to Sarr, who volleys it back one-handed for another alley-oop to Durant. Now, that's 3 of 4 guys. Like, all I've been seeing online lately is, Scotty Barnes got Ingram, and these guys got that guy, and who do we got for Cade? Don't look anywhere past this roster, because we have 4 foundational future stars that one of them is already an all-star. And when Ivy comes back, look out, because all they need to really do is add one legitimate stretch big man to this team, because we're not going to have a first-round pick.
You got anybody
gentlemen.
in mind?
Trade-wise,
That they really, you think they really could go out and get?
I'll have an answer for you for that next week.
Okay.
I didn't get down to 27 games, but I got the next 17. 9 of them at home, 8 of them are on the road.
Okay. So right down the middle.
100%
All right,
pretty much
good. That'll give me
even.
more time to go.
Yeah, even split on
There you
that.
go.
But it's exciting. I was talking to my grandmother on the phone earlier. Shout out to Grandma. I actually stopped by Cheesecake Factory where my family was dining, so that was good to tap in with the family. Grandma, my auntie, my sister, my mom, and then my niece. But I was talking to Grandma on the phone before that, and she said, baby, the Pistons are doing good, and so are the Red Wings. And I think, didn't the Tigers make the playoffs last year? I'm like, the city of Detroit has everybody involved. This is what Anson always talks about when he talks about, as well as Mass, how great of a fan base the city of Detroit has when their teams are doing well. My grandma is 81. Like, my grandma has a lot to worry about. But she knew the Red Wings were doing good.
Love it.
She knew the Pistons were doing good. She even remembered that the Tigers made the playoffs, which a lot of people can forget how they made it. But it just feels good. It's different energy. Like, every sport, everything that comes around, we're involved. We're represented. Cade's a part of this. Like, the NFL, that we're all represented, and it feels good to be a Detroiter.
Certainly does.
Yeah.
And we've been calling it. We've been saying since the advent of Woodward sports that the 20s were going to be the revival and renaissance of Detroit sports teams. We've obviously been living it for a few years now with the Lions. Tigers shocked the world from 0.2 to 100% playoff seeding, and then obviously, you know, you look at the Red Wings and what they're doing with their new coach, and the Pistons, what they're doing with their new coach.
yeah.
It doesn't matter what your favorite sport is. You can get in on all four of these right now.
Oh, excuse me.
I feel like sports are better all around when Detroit is winning. You know, like college football is better when Michigan's winning, kind of. I feel like it's like that with Detroit sports.
I feel you.
It seems like if your football team is good, you can figure it out. Like, for some reason, like, all the teams got good when the Lions figured it out. The Lions figured it out.
It's like
Everybody
they
else
can
figured
do
it
it,
out.
we can do it.
While we wait on Kool-aid, let's dive into a little bit of what happened in the world of baseball. Now, there was a player the Detroit Tigers were in talks with, and now we know exactly what the offer was on the table for Alex Bregman. He chooses a lesser deal.
And you know the Tigers leaked that, so
100%. So the fan base was like, yo, it's
everybody
Chris Hill's
knows.
move.
Yeah.
But I like it, though.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Tigers
Puts it
offer
out
6
there.
years, $170 million. The Boston Red Sox offered 3 years, $120 million, but they also offered an opt-out after each year. Alex Bregman, when you found out he wasn't coming to Tiger, first thoughts, Anson, go.
I was super happy. I've been against this one for a while. I mean, listen, if you want to get him on a contract like the Red Sox got him, where he's got an out each year and you're only strapped in for 3 years.
Tigers were giving him that. They were giving him an out after every year.
But he wasn't going to take that.
He didn't want to come here.
He wanted 6 years or more. That was the only way he was coming to Detroit. And to be quite honest with you, I would much rather find the next Miggy trade where we give up some of these exciting prospects, because we got a bunch. Top 3 at worst, top 5 MLB, minors league system.
Yeah, farm system.
Yeah, farm system. Thank you.
Got
That's
you
what I'm
back.
looking for. But so to me, this is not the guy to go and get. This is exactly what you did with Javi Baez, where you go and you get a guy that's in his decline statistically, and you sign him for too long for too much. This team can easily move on from some of these prospects mid-season and bring in an impact guy and then hopefully re-sign him. But a guy that's 26 or 27, not somebody that's 30, 31 and in clear decline.
Tom Hathaway, I know you were a guy that was saying, look, man, you wanted Bregman. Bregman automatically, you said if you get Bregman, then he turns your team into the leader in the AL, even with the Yankees. Where are you now with him off the table?
I'm good, because yesterday on the show I told you he don't want to be here.
Nolan Arenado.
Otherwise he would have
you
signed.
mentioned.
I said, go out and get Nolan Arenado from St. Louis. He is on the block. He does have a no-trade clause, so we have to okay it. He turned down the Astros about a month ago. Will he want to come to Detroit? The only way he comes here is if, by the way, St. Louis eats a lot of his contract. If they do, then he's got a shot to come here. Now, his numbers are almost the same as Bregman's. They're on the decline as well. But he's one of the great defensive third basemen in the league, and the Tigers do not have a first or a third baseman, a true first or a third baseman right now going into the league, going into this season. They do not have those two. You got to get a guy. You got to get a veteran in here. If it's not him, Scott Harris has got to do some digging. and make a trade for another guy to get. Pete Alonso might have been good to bring here, but he didn't. Colt Keith's going to play first. He hasn't done that yet. We'll see how he does. But third base is a hole. You got to fill it. And we'll talk more about this as the day goes on. We got Kool-Aid on the air, though.
Yeah, we got Kool-Aid. So, man, yeah, I definitely have something because there's on the offensive side of Nolan, I think that's the question mark. But let's put a pin in that. And let's bring in my main man, Brandon Kool-Aid Dent, who happens to be in the building. Kool-Aid, what's going on, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Hey, as always, I love when I can rap with my E&E family, man. It's good to see you guys. I see
Back
Pete
at
got
you,
everybody
Kool-Aid.
on the screen, so this is pretty awesome, man. You're cooking, Pete.
You can thank the great Pete Spyback for that. Look, let's dive into it, man. You see the team behind your head, man. They are doing well. The Detroit Pistons, it's All-Star break. But how they got into All-Star break, 29-26, they won their last 3 games. I don't care who they play. They won these games, and they have that momentum. Just talk about where the Pistons are right now, currently, going into All-Star.
Hey, you know what, man? Sitting in the 6th seed right now, they're 1 game behind Giannis and the Bucks for 5th seed. They're 2 games behind the Pacers for 4th seed. And, you know, if they get there, they host a playoff spot. But just looking at where they are right now, if the season ended today, and I think their ceiling from this point, their floor from this point forward should be that 6th seed. That would be the highest that they have finished at the end of a regular season, and the highest seed that they've had in the playoffs in over a decade. And so that right there just kind of puts into perspective exactly what this Detroit Pistons team has been. And ultimately, you talked about those last 3 games leading into this All-Star game and not really matter who it's against. We know it wasn't against the best of competition, but when they beat the Hornets, you know, and they didn't necessarily play their best, J.B. Bickerstaff stepped to the table and said, you know, we're fortunate to get that win. But we didn't play up to our standards. And this team has playoff aspirations, not just playing. So that, to me, I believe it's all been on display in this first half of the season, which has blown all of my expectations out of the water.
Kool-Aid, I love the word standard because the standard that we saw through these 3 games against teams that they could have came in a little sleepy and underestimated them, especially second night of a back-to-back with a Chicago team that you set a franchise record at halftime up 42 points. Now, first half, Ricky mentioned it. Chicago came out with a lot of energy. Pistons put them away in the second half. But I want to talk about a moment that I know you and your boys really, really loved. And that was Cade Cunningham going up on a fast break, right-handed, and switching hands in the air to dunk.
I thought he had no hops.
That's the thing. But the thing that nobody's talking about, they're just talking about switching hands in the air. He switched to his left.
And was falling backwards when he did it.
Were you guys going wild at home?
I don't even know what to say to that, brother. I don't. Like, when we saw it, you already know, man, how my boys are. Kid Kool-Aid, Junior Kool-Aid. They were going crazy, man. And it's dope to see them as they're getting into, like, content creation. They get to see this Pistons team playing. Because I know when I started on this Pistons beat, it wasn't too much excitement. The most excitement we had was knowing that we got Cade Cunningham. But it's been a process getting to this point and seeing it actualized this way where he's reaching the levels of All-Star. He's reaching the levels of All-NBA conversations. He's reaching the levels of should he be in MVP conversations while the Pistons are having success. And that dunk last night, it's like I said, it continues to be something that just blows expectation out of the water right now. And I believe that we're seeing a more athletic Cade Cunningham and being able to make a lot of those plays because of the decision that they made in the second year to just go ahead and get that corrective and preventative surgery on his shin. Now we're seeing him. He looks like he's been in a weight room. He looks like he's a lot more athletic than prior. He's doing this more consistently. And yeah, bro, we went crazy. We went crazy over that one.
Kool-Aid, playing in the league, man, I've played in a lot of games. I've played on a lot of teams where you see that person finally get it. You see where it starts to click. You see where everything finally culminates, come together, and then they know they're the person they are. Like, what moment, is this the moment this year? Or what moment has it been for you where you saw and you said, okay, yeah, there he is. Okay, yeah, he's here now. Was it last night? Was it the dunk last night? Do you have a moment, or is it just the maturation process of this whole season?
It's really the maturation process of this whole season. You know, there's been moments, you know, where you're like, yo, Cade is really, really looking like he's taking that next step, especially as a closer. You know, there's been a couple games where Cade was the reason why we won, but there's, you know, we know through the years a couple times coming down the stretch where we would have hoped, the turnover thing issues could be solved a little bit better. And what I've seen him do through this season is mature as not just a facilitator, but as a leader down the stretch of these games as well, which is giving the Pistons a lot more opportunity to win these games. So, when you look at how historically bad they've been the last 2 seasons, it's like they've corrected on a lot of those late game mistakes that they just couldn't figure out the last couple of years. In addition to that, you see how Cade Cunningham is able to really get a lot of his teammates involved. And this is something that we covered since before even he was drafted here. It's his ability to probe, his ability to set up, it's his ability to really want to be able to make sure other people can eat as well. But when Cade has to, he steps into that nobody can stop me mode. And I think this year more than ever, he's been able to find that balance more. And that's what we're seeing. JB Bickerstaff as coach, helping him and the rest of the team and the rest of these young guys develop better than we had seen and learn how to be in the right spots. I think all these things in combination is kind of leading to this moment. So for me, if there's going to be one moment, I would say when he was officially announced as an All-Star.
I love that. And, what I've seen out of Cade, you talked about it, he kind of has that feel that Jordan had and that Kobe had where they might not score much in the whole first half, and they just get other people involved. Mm-hmm. They feel the game. And I felt like the last few years he was pushing all the time. Now, when that moment comes where they need him, Killer Cade comes out. But Bray mentioned something. I thought he didn't have any ups. I've seen a lot of high school footage on Cade. I've seen a lot of college footage, and that guy yoked on everybody. I was talking to my buddy about a month ago. I was like, man, the one thing I would like to see Cade improve outside of the turnovers is to get some of them old school jump shoes on and see him start dunking on people again. But we've been seeing a lot of that. What kind of an effect is he having psychologically on teams now? Because I called him unguardable 2-3 weeks ago, and people were laughing at me. Now he's getting double teams. And you start to really see kind of a psychological effect that he's having on the defenses where they're just flat out worried and scared about Killer Cade.
Yeah, you know what? The work that he's done in the weight room, that can't be understated. You can see it in his frame and in his build. But ultimately, I do believe that surgery and having that confidence there, that helped him. Because remember leading up to that Boston game where he had 4 points, that last game of the season, his second year, and he opted to have the surgery literally like within a couple of days of that. There was some pain that he was playing with. And the Pistons just, it's interesting, a lot of the comparisons between he and Grant Hill. And I know that their conditions were different, but the attention to, let's be proactive, let's be preventative, and let's be corrective. They employed that with Cade, even if that meant missing the whole rest of the season. Whereas with Grant Hill, we know the infamous ankle injury, they continued to push and push and push. And their medical staff to this day, at least for that, was still looked at as kind of the more negligible party in that sense by public perception. With Cade, the Pistons just said, hey, bro, just go get right. And so I think that what you're seeing this year is a guy who's able to go out there and just be confident with his skills, playing pain-free, able to get back into that NBA development rather than just NBA rehab or NBA trying to get healthy for the season because I just had a major surgery. It's like this year he's actually able to go in there having experience of the NBA, and he was able to kind of work out, and we're seeing that play out right now. And we're seeing it in other ways too. His ability to back players down in the paint, that footwork as well. He's always been a savvy, high IQ player. You see that going back to even his AAU tapes. And so now at this NBA level, as some of the OGs, as we see with the All-Star game, I think Shaq's OGs, they're getting up there. And when you look at the stars that are left, especially the young stars, there's a lot of names on that list that Cade Cunningham, mentally, psychologically on the court, has just been better than. And so I think right now he's stepping into this place where the NBA could be his. And it's those small little microcosms of what the Pistons chose to get his body right and what he's done as well to put in the work to be there. Those two things right now are working hand in hand to what we're seeing Cade Cunningham do.
Brandon Kool-aid Dent, our guy. Wake up, Woodward.
Maz,
Pistons joining us. We love you, man. You're going to be heading to the All-Star game. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to ask you about the trade deadline. We all were staying there watching and waiting. Dennis Schroeder comes over at the end. What did you think of the trade deadline? Did you think they could have done a little bit better?
There was a part of me that wanted them to take a swing, but I understand not wanting to mess up the mojo that they have going on right now. Like I do understand that they're exceeding our expectations. They're exceeding even their own. Trajan Langdon said, "Hey, look, I did not expect them to be at this point right now," and that did change their perspective going into that trade deadline. And I think more so than anything, they wanted to keep their flexibility to go out there and use their cap space in totality on a player that they want, rather than making a last-ditch effort on a player that can help bolster playoff chances. I think that they believe that they could already make the playoffs as assembled if they just had the help that they got. My minimum was I wanted them to go out there to trade deadline and at least get a backup facilitator and a couple draft picks.
Yep.
They did that all for free, effectively. They just gave up the cap space that they were sitting on, and they were able to absorb Dennis Schroeder, a couple draft picks, Lindy Waters. And so at the bare minimum, I'm like, you know what? Hey, I give them a passing grade for that, especially when you see some of the money that's going to be tied up in some of these other players going forward. I think the Pistons did the right thing at this trade deadline to really focus more on keeping the chemistry together and getting a backup facilitator to assist with the drop-offs we saw every time Cade would come off of the ball.
Who's out there that they can go out and get over the offseason that you think can make this team formidable in the East?
That's what I'm going to keep my eye on, honestly. I want to be able to see if Vooch, that's a guy who I was wondering, like, is Nikola Vucevic, somebody at one point in time they said there was just a couple draft picks. Is that a guy that you're able to go out there and kind of try to get on the low to still be able to better protect your ability to go out there and cash in on a team that's looking to move on from a star or a disgruntled star? And that's something that Rob Beard and I of the Detroit News, when we do our pod, that's something that we try to key in on. And it's interesting you ask that because that's a part of like our next focus as we go down the stretch here with these Pistons, because over the last 4 years, they've been one of those prime candidates to make a trade during draft season when the cap spaces and the cap holds aren't locked in for teams yet. So, I'm looking at more of an under, no big splash unless they actually go out there and acquire a disgruntled star. But I believe that those windows have passed. Your Levines, your Ingrams, those guys are already passed. And now you're looking at maybe something more marginal. This isn't the strongest, in my opinion, free agent class. And I would wait until the offseason after to maybe go out there and try and make that splash when Tobias Harris's contract is coming off those books.
I love Unk.
Yeah.
I like Unk. Leave Unk here.
So Kool-Aid.
Hey, but you know what? I do think Tobias is one of those prime candidates for me, where when that $26 million a year after a couple years, is up, maybe you bring him back on a lower annual value. Maybe he's one of those vets that's getting you 10, 11 million a year, and then able to go out there and actually field a better starting four. I'd like Tobias here since the season has started, been able to cover him in practices, shoot-arounds, pre-games. You see what he's doing with those young players, and that's where you really begin to see his value, especially, man, when you got Tobias Harris out there playing as good as he has the last couple of
Amen,
weeks.
man. I always liked him. Go ahead, Anson.
You are headed to the Bay Area. You will be at this All-Star Weekend, all the extravaganza that's going on. I'm especially excited for two things. One, watching the Thompson twins play together on Saturday night. That team is my pick to win the rookie-sophomore tournament and go in and face the, what did you call Shaq's teams, the OGs?
Shaq's OGs is what they're calling them.
And that truly is that. I love this new format. First to 40, but you bring in a bunch of young kids, whoever wins on Saturday. No OGs, no young superstars. Nobody wants to lose to that team. But then on the other side of it, you got Barkley's bigs and you got Smooth Kenny's two-way young studs. Like the way that these guys are playing defense and offense, I am so excited to watch my three favorite players.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
Ant-Man, J-Dub, and Cade Cunningham playing together. They are my pick with an Ant-Man MVP to win the whole thing. What are you most excited about, and who's winning the All-Star game?
Hey, you know what, man? It looks like the deck is stacked against, Kenny's young stars, because you got, Wemby and Shea and Nikola Jokic all on the same team. Then you got LeBron and KD and others, Steph Curry, all in the same team. And then you got Kenny's young stars, who I believe that they got some of the more underrated players in the league. And I think that this sets up well for a guy like a Cade Cunningham, who already on that Rising Stars challenge stage, he showed as the MVP of that game. He has no problem stepping up and being the alpha. And I do believe that they got those alpha males on their team between Cade, Brunson, and AE, as you called it. They're gonna have a good opportunity to make some noise. I like, though, the sneaky pick there, Jaren Jackson Jr. From the Memphis Grizzlies. That's one of my guys. So I've been saying, do anything you got to do for like the last 5 years. Get that man in a Pistons uniform, and it's cool to see him having this type of success this year. Even with Ja Morant missing the first 20 games of the season, he still had the Memphis Grizzlies as a top team in the West. So I think that they're going to have an opportunity, but I don't know how you bet against Wemby, Shea, Nikola, Jokic. I don't know, brother. I don't know. That team to me is the one that looks like it's going to take it. But let's see what Cade does.
Hey, Kool-aid, let's have some fun, man. Anson has his top 10, and he's going to do all-star moments, just the weekend in its totality. So it can be any part of that weekend in history. First thought, when you think about all-star game and you growing up till now, what are the first 5 moments that jump out for you? The first 5 memories, moments, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, Grant Hill as a rookie, leading the fan balloting. He actually beat Shaq, who came in second. That, to me, stands out, man. I had Grant Hill's shoes and his jersey. Pistons 4 All-Stars making it, 2005 and 2006 All-Star.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking
Carter,
about.
the dunk contest.
Yeah.
2000, baby.
That's the one I was thinking.
That was the last time it was in Oakland.
That's right.
Remember that?
Hey, that was epic to me, man. I remember watching that whole thing. And then, you know what? Michael Jordan's last All-Star game was
2003
epic. Yeah, it was absolutely epic. And then NBA 75 was dope as well. To be able to see like Isaiah Thomas and
I didn't think about that one.
being honored amongst some of the all-time greats, it was dope to see on that stage, especially during a time where Pistons basketball for decades wasn't really the best. So those were some of my moments, man. There's definitely others, but if you just want 5, those were kind of the first 5 that just came to mind.
Encyclopedia Kool-Aid.
I love those, man. Those definitely are on the list. I don't want to share too much because Anson hasn't revealed his list yet, so we'll dive into it later as the show goes. But those definitely are some ones that jump out. And I didn't even think about it or phrase it that way in terms of NBA 75. NBA 75, like the Pistons hadn't had an All-Star in Lord knows how long. But you had you had Isaiah Thomas. That was a representation of Detroit and the greatness that it was. I didn't even think about that. Man, I didn't even think about that. That was
we share 3. Kool-Aid.
Said.
We share 3.
How about when the Pistons all came out together?
I already know how you think basketball-wise as well, man. So I'm not surprised.
I can't wait to send you the list, my friend.
My man B.
You know what, man? I can't wait for this weekend, brother. I'm really looking forward to getting out there and crushing it for Woodward Sports.
Let Pete cook.
Hey there, Kool-Aid. I got a question for you, my man. I love your background.
Yes, sir.
You have a spectacular background. You got your Superman and Batman comics. You got a few Pistons back there, but one of my favorite Pistons you have back there is the microwave, Vinnie Johnson. Give me your current. Who is the current Piston who most represents and resembles number 15 to you?
Nice call, Pete.
Current Malik Beasley.
All day.
Malik Beasley, man. The way that dude's able to just jump off the bench and he's just instant on.
Yeah.
That's where it's at,
He's
man.
fabulous.
It's cool to see the Pistons have the shades of some of the bad boys Pistons. Now, hopefully they get some of that success as well in the future.
Appreciate you, Kool-Aid.
Pete, we
Good
always
question,
appreciate having you on the show,
Appreciate
man.
you,
Like,
Pete.
appreciate the work you're doing, man. It's great to see that, you've been down to LCA and you've been preaching Pistons and you've been doing all the things and taking all the hard questions as it relates to the Pistons over the past 3 years, man. Now to see the Pistons start to find themselves and Cade becoming an all-star and potentially all-pro. Excuse me, I keep saying all-pro, all-NBA. It was good, man. I'm happy for you, man. You're in a happy space.
Good job, man.
Getting out to San Fran,
Yes,
I like it,
understand,
man.
I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you all. Like, it's because of Woodward Sports. It's awesome to see when they're like, hey, this is the outlet, man. And I'm gonna go down there to represent the outlet, represent the chat family as well, and put on for Cade's first All-Star game at my first All-Star game. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm grateful for all of the support that you guys have continued to get, man.
Go
That's
get
why
that
this stuff
Cade
happens.
interview now.
You got a lot of
Go
love,
get
a lot
that
of blessings
Cade
going
interview.
your way. Go get the Cade
Safe
interview, man. And we
travels.
will tap in with you once you get out there. Safe travels, man. We love you. And there it is, Detroit basketball. You know what it is.
Feel free to interview Jason or Jalen Williams too, my boy J-Dub. You feel free to do that as well.
Look, I'm gonna be at all the media, stuff. I'm gonna be at the practices. I'm gonna be at the Rising Stars practice. Kool-aid is gonna be with me. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Very cool.
The great Brandon Kool-aid Dent. We appreciate
Good
you,
job,
man. We'll
B.
talk to you soon, B.
Thanks, Kool-Aid.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you. I love y'all, man.
Talk to you
Love
Monday.
you too. He's a major part of what we do here at Woodward Sports, man. I
he
have to always say that so that he gets the just due and love that he deserves. He works his ass off here,
Sure
man, like no other,
does.
man. And he's been there in the trenches because I told him plenty of times, get rid of everybody, get rid of the whole organization, throw the organization in the Detroit River. But he stayed the course. He told me here or there, I think they could do this different. You know how he talks, I think we can do this a little different. I think once they get this going on. And he was right about a lot of the things, and here we are.
Yeah, his Pistons passion has always been on clear display.
All right. We kept you a little bit over. You know what I'm saying? We had some fun with Brandon Kool-Aid Dent, but we do have to keep the lights on here. So, Anson, tell us about Les Stanford.
Hey, it's Les Stanford's sign and drive sale. You can get yourself a 2024 Envision for only $239 a month. Or you can get the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $249 a month. And then they also got that 25 Hummer EV SUV for only $789 per month. Zero security deposit, zero do-it signing, zero first payment, zero acquisition fee. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory at the sign and drive sale. Les Stanford, Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
It's gone from a read to the truth. I actually did this in the car when I was on the phone with my mom because she mentioned Planet Fitness, where I told her fitness is essential because it is. Over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. It's the gym for you. It's clean. How clean? Squeaky clean. That's what they claim, and that's what's true because I've been there. I believe in them. So should you. Everybody wants to lose a few lbs, but you want to do it in a place where it's no judgment, and that's what it is at Planet Fitness. Check this out. It's also, they don't charge you a lot of this right here. and everybody keep their money in their pockets. Well, that's what Planet Fitness wants to do for you. There is no judgment. They have trainers. The gym's squeaky clean. What more can we say? Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. I was messing with my mom on the phone. I just jumped into doing the read. Like, I'm so dialed in, it's not even a read anymore. It's just
You nailed it.
on my membrane.
Hey, we're in the Planet Fitness studios.
We are. You see him directly behind you. You see him behind me, Anson, the whole crew. All-star moments. I think, that's the thing you think about. That's why I asked Brandon Dent that. But you think about these moments, and he named some really good moments. Anson, you have a top 10 that is centered around this topic, so I will let you
I
take
got
it
like
from
a
here.
top 22, but you guys only gave me 10.
But it's called Top 10 Thursday. It's not Top 40.
Ricky, I don't know if you can find it, but if you wanna overlay some NBA Inside Stuff music while we go through this, I won't be mad at you.
So fast.
So you do your 10. You go
We need
all
John
the way
Tesh in
through.
I will. I'm going
Thank
to
you,
quickly
Ricky.
mention my what do they call that? The ones that didn't make the top 10.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Thank you.
We'll give you 3.
Kobe Bryant is going to get both of them. And his first year as a rookie, he won the slam dunk contest. And his next year, he was voted a starter despite not starting on his own team. And he showed up to play against his idol, Michael Jordan. That being said, let's start it off with number 10.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you have one of these moments, say that you have that moment.
All right.
Throw it in there. Throw it
Number
in the
10.
chat.
The
All right,
greatest pass.
Hang on a second. I got to get Bray's spray paint over here because I want to do this the right way for you, buddy.
There it
We're
is.
gonna tease everybody here, my man.
So we're looking at number 10, and it is the greatest pass of all time. And that is Jason Williams, Mr. White Chocolate, 3-on-2 fast break around the back, elbow pass to Tom
I do remember
Gugliotta
that.
for the finish.
I do remember that.
We had to watch it 3 times live
Just to see.
to figure out what he had done.
J will pass.
I knew it'd be on yours.
Jay
I knew
will
it'd be on
pass.
yours. And I'm going to go to number 9. This is another pass, and I really wish I could show it to you. But in 1989, 2 guys that hated each other linked up for my most memorable dunk in actual All-Star game history, and that would be Isaiah on the break, off the backboard to a trailing Jordan. And you could see, you watch Jordan, he's like, Isaiah's not going to give me the ball. And he kind of takes a half step off, and then he sees Zeke just throw it off the glass. He gets up, does his little windmill, and finished it the way only Jordan could. My buddy that I went to college with, staunch Jordan fan, hated the Pistons. I was on the exact opposite side of that coin, but we both loved that moment.
Great thing about that is they didn't hate each other this time. 89, Jordan and Isaiah were still friends. Like Magic and Isaiah didn't rock with each other anymore.
In
Like,
89? They were still kissing in 89?
No, that's when it hit the fan.
I thought that was 91 that it hit the fan.
No, with Mike and with Magic and Zeke,
Yeah, because they were kissing in 89 and 9. Well, in 89 in the finals and 88.
they kissed in 88.
No, they kiss in 89 too.
All right.
We're talking about kisses here.
Yeah.
All right, so number 8.
Wait, what went wrong with them?
With Jordan.
With Magic first and Isaiah.
Well, supposedly Isaiah had some choice things about his
age.
choice of company. Magic's choice of company. I'll leave it at that.
All right. And then he got left off the All-Star team, the Dream Team.
92.
Right?
That's the easiest way to say their beef. Yeah, he got left off that team. It's deeper than that, but he got left off the team.
He got screwed.
Yeah, that's the crux of
That
it.
would be the correct
That's
terminology.
the crux. I
And
think
that's Jordan.
for Jordan, it started when they didn't speak to them after they lost. Like when
they
Zeke
walked
and
off
them
the
walked
field.
off the field, like the Celtics did us. Jordan took it way further than that, and
took
then
it
after
personal.
that, he just it was personal.
He took it personal.
Zeke was like my whole family took care of you in Chi-Town. Like, why you mad
That's
at
right.
me? Like, my family has taken care of you since 1984. Like, you're
Put up
petty.
his nephew
You're a
and
baby,
everything, man.
Yeah, so 100%. I'm on Zeke's side, by the way.
I wasn't in Detroit when they walked off. I watched it, and I loved it.
Good.
I
That's
loved
what.
it.
And that's why I love
what
you, man.
That's what it used to be. Like that was dope.
That's what I like.
The Celtics did it to them.
Yeah.
The only reason why you got one handshake is because Isaiah went and grabbed Kevin McHale for the
While
most
he's
part.
walking through the half court
100%.
with the game still going on.
He's like, hey, nah, you're gonna give me this. Come on.
He said, don't just be happy to be there. Beat
To
those
me, that
Lakers.
was
basketball.
Yeah, that's the way I like my sports. I don't like people liking each other. I don't like NFL players taking their jerseys off and swapping. I don't like it. I just don't. It's not for me.
the new way of sports, unfortunately.
NBA,
But,
you know who you can blame in NBA.
number 8.
Numero ocho.
Number 8 is shared by our guy Kool-Aid, and that was the all 4 Pistons checking in. I think we got a photo of that somewhere. Those 4 guys up on the scorer's table. But it didn't just stop there. It wasn't just a cool photo for them to have. Those 4 went in and literally played defense in a defensive game. Yeah. They shut down the West while they were in that game. And it was, probably isn't a top all-star moment for, 29 other teams.
Don't care about
NBA,
that,
right?
But we love it here. It took to 2026 or 2006 for it to happen. Probably should have happened in 05 and 06. But to see Tay along with those big 3 there was really very cool.
Happened in 05, the first time, didn't it?
No, it was actually 06 because we talked about that on Tuesday.
It happened 03. It happened 05. It was the 3 of them.
Yes.
It was 3 of them because that's what I was going to say. I was at the game in Denver. It was at the Pepsi Center. And you had Rashid and you had Ben. And it was. And Rip and Rip. So that's the one I was talking about. When they checked in 4. It was
That's
Rashid.
06.
That's
06. I had to double check it last night myself because I thought it was 05.
After
I thought
they won a championship.
That's 05.
Yeah.
I was at that one.
No, so I thought it was 05 as well, and you and I talked about it like you said on Tuesday. I thought for sure that it was 05. I had to double check it, but it was actually 06 that they were all up there.
Okay, well in this one in 05, I know Rashid.
You got the photo, Pete?
I know Rashid, Chauncey, and Rip were there in 05.
It's all in the package.
Chauncey got me my seats to All-Star Week. That's why I
got
was
one
getting
photo
to.
from you.
But all right, I had that moment as well. I had Pistons checking in 4.
Number 7.
Let's move the spray paint for you, buddy.
When Spud Webb got up, won that championship in '86. That was my first dunk contest I ever watched, and boy, was it worth watching.
I got Dominique /Spud because you know who he beat?
His teammate.
The human highlight film,
That's right.
Dominique Wilkins. If Dominique said, I didn't even know he can get up like that because he doesn't dunk in practice.
Yeah, and he certainly didn't dunk in games.
No, they wouldn't let that happen.
Number 6.
All right.
The All-Star game that I got a chance to go to in 03 in Hotlanta. Michael Jordan's final All-Star weekend. There's an interesting story that goes along that
He was a
because
Wizard, right?
Isaiah was actually the coach of the East. And over an outstretched Sean Marion, Jordan hits the shot, but there's 10 seconds or 4 seconds or something left still. Kobe gets off a 3 and gets fouled by Jermaine O'Neal. And Isaiah had, I forget who it was, but he had a guy on the team run over to, how did that work? Or I guess he was coaching Kobe's team. Mm-hmm. So he told Kobe to miss so that Jordan could win the game. Kobe wasn't having it. He did gift him 1 miss, and they went to overtime, and ultimately the West did prevail in that game.
The thing that's so funny about that game that nobody remembers is like Jordan wouldn't have started that game. Like Vince Carter got the most at the position. Remember they used to do positional like back then. Vince Carter got the most points at the time, and Vince went over there and said, "Ain't no way in hell that I'm gonna let you start." Mike told him, "This is your game. Relax." So Jordan didn't start that game. Vince tried to let him start. Mike wasn't having it. He said, "You won. This is what happens." Yeah,
so very similar to that 91 or that 01, or excuse me, the
03.
03. I'm jumping ahead. 2001, the greatest All-Star game ever played. That was a game where the East was down by 11, I think, with just a few minutes left. Close game the whole way. That was actually your boy AI that brought them back, the East.
Steph brought them back. AI won MVP.
Not in 01. Steph wasn't bringing anybody back.
That's when they won the uniform. That's when everybody wore their own uniform.
Steph was not in the NBA in 01, my friend.
Okay, what year was that? The 99 maybe? I'm tripping.
You're going backwards now.
Well, I was off one. I'm trying to figure out what it was. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not. Steph came in what, 06?
96. Steph Marbury came in with AI.
I thought you were talking about Steph Curry.
No, Steph Marbury. Yeah, it was that game.
Starbury was a big part of that game. I just remember the 2001 game being the last amazing All-Star moment. Just that game itself was fantastic. You had kind of the end of the players that made the 90s special, and you had all these new guys, T-Mac, Vinsanity, Kobe playing at a high level. So I loved that game, and I loved seeing AI come back and win it. He wasn't able to do the same thing in the finals later on that year. But moving on to number 4, 1992, Magic returns from a short retirement. We all know why. But the last couple of minutes of that game, going against Jordan, going against Isaiah, going against all of the guys that he had played against, and they just kept giving him the ball, and Magic just couldn't miss. That was a Magic moment, to be quite honest with you.
There were a lot of people afraid to play in that game.
Well, yeah, I forgot about that. I did forget about that.
Karl Malone, most notably.
Karl Malone, that's right.
I had that one, Magic MVP.
Yeah, got to have that one on there. Number 3, my man Larry Bird in his warm-ups, winning his 3rd straight and the first 3 3-point competitions, and boy, he had to bury that last rack in order to win it. I hated Larry Bird at that time, but I certainly wanted him to win that 3-point competition. It's about the only time I ever wanted Larry to win anything.
Larry Bird 3 is on here. I'll circle it. I'll let you see my sheet so you think I'm BSing. The great thing about that story is I've heard Larry tell it a million times. I feel like Larry's stories got real hot like 3-4 years ago, and they've kind of been rolling and cycling. He said he walked into the locker room and said, "Who's coming in second?" He said everybody knows Larry's talking stuff, but he said it was so quiet in there. He said I was trying to just break the ice. Yeah. He said, and when I said that, he said it made it worse. Oh my God. He said because then people were like, "Oh, great, he's an asshole."
Yeah, that's
so that's
he does have some good stories.
That's his story. The stories about Larry are the best stories.
No doubt.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, he said it was coming in second. He was just trying to, pick the mood up in the locker room, man. He gets in there, he buries the last shot.
Probably the best smack talker in NBA history.
Yeah, it's not even close.
And he backed it all up.
He backed it up with rings.
He really
and
was
MVPs.
something, man. He really was something.
Number 2.
I wish I could have liked him.
Number 2 is on everybody's list. It was on Kool-Aid's list. I know it's on Braylon's list. And it should be on every single list that you ever Google, and that is the 2000 Vinsanity. Vince Carter's unbelievable and absolutely unforgettable slam dunk competition. I mean, the guy pulled out dunks we had never seen. Putting his elbow in the basket.
Yeah, between the legs.
The reverse windmill 360s. I mean, the guy just did stuff. We thought Michael was the best. I'm sorry. Vince is the best slam dunker of all time. I'm not getting any pushback on that, am I?
Too. Don't forget Doc.
Sure.
Vince is the number 1 dunker of all time. It's not even close. It's some really good, talented people, but sometimes it's just like Steph Curry. Some great 3-point shooters. Nobody's the best. Nobody's close to Steph. I still remember exactly what I was. I'll take you back to that memory. Remember the little Nerf hoops that you would get from Target or Kmart? They cost what, like $15, $20? Get them on. You tear them up in a week. Now your mom not gonna buy you another one because she just bought that one. It's me, my cousin Jacarte, my best friend Jason at the time. All 3 of us, and it's my sister Jay. She's young as I don't know what. 2000, I'm 17, so that makes her 10. We're watching and we're going. Like when he did the first one, I was like, I'm literally doing this. So now we're trying to do it on the rims. I legitimately go to do it between the legs. I hit, dunk, and elbow the window and break the window.
Oh wow!
Did you blame it on anybody?
I tried. That's why I'm glad you asked that question. Sorry, Jacarte.
I knew he was getting blamed.
Jacarte did it. Yeah, he did.
I got in trouble.
He had to take one for the team.
But you know what it was? Is All-Star is very important to me. It's like I said, it's around my birthday, so it's fun to watch. And it was like one of the things my mom would let me have a party around. My mom's like, you know what? Look, I'll let people come over for the All-Star game. And the dunk contest had gotten kind of stale a little bit at that age, and then. Welcome back, Vince Carter to the NBA. It was amazing.
Hey, last time the game was in Oakland, in Golden State, was that year.
Pistons had a player in the dunk contest, Anson.
Can't even
Do you remember who it was? In that contest.
What year?
That's 2000.
2000?
Pistons had a representative.
I feel like Vince Carter made it a standard to do the between the legs. And
100%. That's dunk 1 now.
Yeah, right.
You got to start with that.
Yeah, right.
There's a Piston.
And it's not Grant.
It's not Grant. Grant wasn't a Piston at the time. In fact, this guy, I'm not guessing too much.
In 2000, he was still a Piston, but
I think I know.
Injury, yeah. You're right.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I can't.
Does he have initials?
In fact, okay, here we go. He played for Grant Hill's rival college team.
So he played for Carolina.
Matt's figured it out quick.
Man, you got me.
Number 42.
42.
Oh,
Theo
Stack.
Ratliff?
Okay, yeah.
Stackhouse.
That's right.
Stackhouse did that dunk
Stackhouse.
contest.
Sometimes I forget he was a
I
Piston.
threw the Rattler out there.
Right when he kind of, because it was like he was averaging 28 2 years before that, and then when Rick Carlisle came, Rick Carlisle got him to buy into the team. Finally, the team started getting good, and they traded him.
See it.
Yeah. I like this. Had that one in.
I was living in Russia. I missed everything. I missed Charles Woodson's Heisman.
Oh,
97.
Now the Russia thing makes sense. Why he wants Russia in the hockey tournament.
Yep.
Nah, it all
See,
comes together.
look at you connecting
I
dots.
missed barely
right.
get
Figured
to
it out.
2000.
Ooh,
And
99.
then somebody, I'm like messaging somebody, and they tell me they're like, Pistons got Stackhouse and Eric Montross. I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow, Eric.
I was so
Montross.
upset that I missed that
He
stuff while I was
passed
in
away.
Russia.
He
did. Eric
I caught the
Montross.
fourth
He died last
quarter.
year. That's right. He died last year.
I caught the fourth quarter of a Charlotte Hornets game in Russian, and then occasionally there would be the Rugrats.
the hell were you doing in Russia?
Living it up.
He was living up over there.
Eric
He told me
Montross.
the story.
I had a girl that I was close with in
Yeah.
college, and
Wow, following her to Russia. That's
well,
something.
I didn't know it. I didn't
Why
really
not?
have game freshman year, and
Das
so sophomore
Vidanya.
year, she's like, yeah, "You missed your chance." And she had a new boyfriend who didn't want to go to Russia with her, and she knew the one guy that would piss him off the most to take was this guy. I spent 2 months out in Russia.
Was it worth your while?
What's that?
Was it worth your while?
Oh, it was unbelievable.
All right.
It was my first love,
Anson.
Masha from the Bolshoi Ballet Academy.
Hey, shout
Shout out, Masha.
Number one.
Save your number one. We'll do the big reveal after this. We'll get a quick commercial break from Caesars. Pete, tell us about Caesars.
You got it, my friend. Everybody got to scan that QR code above my head and get yourself your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. When you do, use the code word Woodward1000 with that brand new Caesars Sportsbook account and deposit at least $20 and make a bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you'll get that first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan the QR code above my head and use the code word Woodward1000 to get your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. We'll be right back.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won.
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Head to Woodward Sports. WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Get them before they're gone. The signature wings at Soroki's with real fans' favorite. Crispy chicken and pizza, we know about that, but these wings, man, I got to get you on board because you're going to look up here one day, I'm going to do this read, and poof, they'll be gone. So get in, tap in while they're still here. They are fire. And if you want fire ones, the buffalo is hot, but the lemon pepper is the way to go. Please don't forget about the biscuits because Anson will have something to say about it. The biscuits are fire, and they got the honey glaze on them. It's the way to go. Soroki's with real fans' favorite. All right, if you guys just tuned in, Anson was doing his top 10 All-Star Weekend moments. He had a lot of moments that we all share, but now here we are at number 1. Anson.
Braylon, there's one photograph in the lore of All-Star Weekends that all of us know.
Yeah.
We all know it. Chat, you guys feel free to type it in. You know what photo we are talking about. And that is the GOAT. Taking off from the free throw line.
There it is.
And winning the 1988 Slam Dunk Contest. The greatest Slam Dunk Contest, hands down, of all time. Yes, sir.
And he won the Slam Dunk. That
And it
same
was in
year.
Chicago, wasn't it?
Amazing dunk. I mean, there's so many different angles and pictures of that moment. You can hate Michael Jordan, but you can't hate that dunk.
Before I say anything, what was it about the dunk itself? Like, walk me through. You're watching. I got how I'm 16. You're about what?
I was
13?
about a decade old.
Okay, there you go. You're watching. What was it about the dunk?
It was the competition between him and Dominique Wilkins. There it is right there. And it was neck and neck. They obviously had different styles. You know, you saw more power with Dominique. You saw a little more grace with Michael. But it came down to that dunk.
Yeah.
And what we had seen through that contest was just every type of dunk you could see possible. And then you get these two guys in the finals. What do you pull out to beat Dominique? And he could only pull out something that nobody had ever seen before, and that was the free throw line dunk. But the build-up, let me walk to the other end of the court. Let me clean my shoes
he slow
off.
walked it, too.
That's right.
Oh.
That's right. And it didn't take him 2 opportunities.
He
flushed
right
it
here.
one. It was clean. I mean, it is the most iconic dunk in the history of the NBA, in my opinion, and I don't know if it's arguable.
No, it's not. And before Maz points out Dr. J, who definitely did it first, what Mike did was different. We had seen, and I don't like there was someone that did it after Doc. There were a couple people that have done it, but what they did was they had a foot on the line, or even if they were behind it, it was just a straight. Let me just reach to the rim like Jordan did in Space Jam. Let me use my Dr. J is 6'9". Let me use my 6'9". Let me use my long arms, and let me get to it and let me dunk it. Mike, as you point out, it's the greatest. Mike leaped, and then what did he do?
And pulled it back. That's right.
And then went back. So the visual was different. I was like, well, I've never seen that before.
Floated.
That dunk contest by him was flawless because even though that's the most iconic, wasn't even the best dunk he did. In my opinion, is when he kissed the rim. Then he rocked the cradle. Like, just, Maz, you watched the live talk about it.
I did, man. And, you know, I'm going to bring up the first dunk contest was in the ABA in 1976, and it's Dr. J over Skywalker, David Thompson.
100%.
But in the 70s, these teams hated each other, East versus West. They played to win those games.
Yeah.
They did. But bringing it up to this era, 2016 for me, Zach LaVine against Aaron Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was a
I got that
phenomenal.
one, too.
That's a good one.
And my kids and my wife watched this with me. They love watching the All-Star Saturday Night with me. And that was a hell of a battle. And Aaron Gordon is one of the top dunkers in the league. He had a hell of a run, and then he got ripped off one year and decided, that's it. I can't do this anymore. I forgot who they gave the win to, but he said, I'm never going to do the dunk contest
Levine,
again.
yeah, Levine won.
So I had all the moments that you had. I just kind of wrote some down, so I got more than 10, but I have those. The Marvin Gaye National Anthem,
Yeah, in
1983.
There you go,
The year
Maz.
I was born.
Yeah, that
There,
one
no,
was
that's
crazy.
dope right there. 1983. Like the best part about it, you just watch all the legs. Pause. of the NBA players tapping as he's singing that song. I've never seen two teams in so much unison. Also, Kobe and Shaq. We know where they were at the time where they both got the co-MVP. We know what their relationship was. It was Shaq's son's birthday. Kobe gave Shaq the award, said you could have it. Like, I thought that's when I started to liking Kobe. Like, I started to see beyond what I was fed in the media.
A great moment.
Like, when he did that, I said, well, Kobe's different. Like, this is something a little bit more human about Kobe.
Love
At that
one.
moment. The Kobe LeBron in Toronto.
I was just about
you
to
may
say
not
that
like
was
LeBron. You may
mine.
not like Kobe. You may hate Drake.
Yeah.
But that moment is that moment. You talk about Kobe and Jordan. That was Kobe and LeBron. That was kind of like the same move some years later. So I
And
thought
the
that
NBA,
was
the
dope.
NBA needed that at that time because that's when it
Yeah.
first started kind of get a little boring. And Kobe was leaving. We needed that moment.
I
at the
agree
time.
with you. There's one iconic moment that would be more. It would be bigger than Jordan's from the free throw line if it wasn't this person. What dunk? Just think about dunk contests. Everybody out there, just think about dunk contests. Manage loaded, a little easier. Just think about things you saw for the first time. Things you saw and you was like, oh my God. Vince, oh my God. Free throw line Jordan, oh my God. Somebody.
D Brown, baby.
D Brown dunks with not looking. Obviously, you look back, it's it's a little bit skewed, it's a little bit whatever. But at that moment, when I was watching as an 8-year-old, I thought this man thought he dunked without looking. I thought it was amazing.
It was.
I thought it was amazing.
That was a hell of a run by him. I've been curious since yesterday to hear Maz's because I know that there's some stuff that happened back in the day.
He started with the ABA to let you know where we're going.
For sure.
Jerry West against Walt Frazier. Abdul Jabbar, who was Lou Alcindor, against Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, Pistol Pete Maravich. There was so many, and I'm telling you, Earl Monroe was putting it on. It's just those days. I just loved basketball. When I was a kid, the Knicks were my team, man. I was 1970. I was 8 years old when they won. Then they lost the next year to the Lakers. Then they beat the Lakers. Then they lost the following year to the Lakers. And they haven't won since I was 11 years old. 11 freaking years old. Look at me. Look at me.
Look good, baby.
You look good.
11 freaking years old. I'll be 63 next week.
She looked
That's
good.
the New York Knicks. Mic drop there.
It is. It definitely is. It's one person that no one mentioned a moment for, and you can. It's LeBron James. I didn't have a LeBron James moment. Maz hates LeBron James.
He's a coward.
So, and he's had some great moments. For just whatever it is, I don't have them in there. Let's do this.
Nor should you.
Let's switch gears. Let's put a pin in All-Star after your comment.
Real quick, if you guys get a chance, you Detroit Piston fans, look up Isaiah Thomas 1986 All-Star game. This was the second
dribble?
time he was a little bit of that, but there's a whole clip of him and all of the stuff that he did in that game. I believe he put up 30 and 14, 30 or 16, and that was the second time he won the MVP of that game. However, there is a fast break putback dunk that he puts down over Magic Johnson, and for some unknown reason, the refs decided to call a loose ball offensive foul. And you can see how bummed out Isaiah is because Isaiah was absolutely on fire in that game. But it is the nastiest dunk that I've ever seen Isaiah do, aside from maybe the putback dunk over Robert Parrish.
Yeah,
but Isaiah, you never know it. He could yoke.
In 86, the NBA wasn't going to embarrass two players, one being Bird, one being Magic. Let's put a pin in that, Maz. We talked about the Alex Bregman deal.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We talked about Alex. Oh, this is the second right here in 86.
Yeah.
Look at what's his name.
Oh, yeah.
I can't see
Pat
it.
O'Brien?
There you go.
Pat O'Brien.
100%. I couldn't see it.
There you go.
Shout out to Zeke, who is beloved, and he is by far the best Piston of all time.
Yes, sir.
And guard to me, but that's a whole nother story. You're not ready for
I
that.
can see
You're not ready for that one.
screen.
I ain't fighting you.
Alex Bregman, he spurns the Tigers. Maz, you as well as Anson talked about Anson. I tend to agree with you. Where I'm at with it is when players don't want to be here, don't allow them to come here. We don't want players that don't want to be here. We don't need players that don't want to be here. Look, what the Tigers are building, you saw the energy when they made it to the playoff. There is some real energy amongst this Detroit Tigers. I like Gleyber Torres. You brought Jack Flaherty back, a guy that came back for the first time. So keep that energy. You saw what happened, what energy can do to a team. Now, I'm not trying to let Javi Baez catch a stray, but you're going to catch one full on me, Paul's like, Javi Baez, that was a messed up locker room. The energy, no one could function. Move him out of that locker room for whatever reason. You start to see, if you bring another guy in Alex Bregman who could be a locker killer, like a culture killer. Like, you're setting yourself back. And also, the what ifs. My favorite part about this deal, Maz, is the what ifs are no more. I don't have to worry about the what ifs. I don't have to worry about how is he going to be in the dugout. I don't have to worry about how is he going to be next year and the following year and the decline. Don't have to worry about these. I don't have to worry we're going to tie ourselves to a player for too long. Don't have to worry about that. I think they didn't make the move, but I think they will benefit from him not coming here.
I believe he probably would have been a good player. In the
I
locker
agree
room.
with that.
He would have been good for a few years here. He would have been good. He would have been a doubles machine. But his home run total is going down. And this is Comerica Park. We had Lynn Henning on last week. He's been covering the Tigers for 30-plus years. He said it. Players do not want to come here because of the park. It's Comerica Park. It's not a hitter-friendly park if you want to hit home runs. There's not a big home run. Only one guy really crushed him, and it was Miguel Cabrera. Prince Fielder had a couple of good years. There's a few other guys I'm leaving out as well. But it's not a home run park. It's a doubles park. It's a doubles park. He didn't want to come here, otherwise he would have signed weeks ago. And Scott Harris, just this past week, when he's talking about Flaherty and what they're going to do going forward, he's like, we only want people here, players here that want to be here. He obviously didn't want to be here because the Tigers gave him the longest contract.
Right.
And the Boston Red Sox gave him a lot of money up front, $40 million a year, plus he's got an out clause after each year. He's going to kill it at Fenway. Boston's going to be very tough. The Yankees are going to be looking to maybe replace some of their older guys with another old guy, and it's the St. Louis Cardinals, Nolan Arenado. He's a great third baseman.
Matt,
his
talk
hitting
about his
isn't the same.
offense. Talk about the offense.
His offense his numbers, they skewed down. Right. His ops used to be close to 900. They're closer to now 750. And each year they've been going down. His on-base percentage and his slugging percentage. But the guy can rake, and you need a veteran leader on this team. This is the youngest team in baseball. They have all their chips too in the farm system. They have stocked this farm system. They have replenished it. So there's going to be a trade, whether it's Arenado or someone else down the line. Scott Harris, I can't see him going to opening day at LA with a hole at third base. I believe you will have a third baseman. Just don't know who it is. The Yankees are after Arenado as well. So they always counter what Boston does. So I think it's between the Tigers and the Yankees. J.P. Morosi went on MLB Network, said the same thing. There's still stuff out there. I don't want to see them play the Dodgers on opening day with a kid, Jace Young, at third base. I just don't want to see that.
I agree with you there. You definitely need to get somebody outside of Jace Young to start the season. You need a veteran. I understand you on that point. The one thing, and Maz, you said it, so let me clear what I set up. I said I was happy as a Tigers fan that he wasn't here and all the what-ifs and things like that. Look, Alex Bregman is a good player. He made the smart decision. Like, if I was Alex Bregman, I would have made the same decision. You get more money up front,
Plays
$40
in a great town
front
as well.
loaded. You're playing in Boston, one of the most storied franchises. Forget a sport.
I hate them, but it is what it is.
Agreed. One of the most storied franchises. So, and they're a really good team. So, I mean, it would have been the smarter move for an aging man. It's a better deal.
Hey, look, the Tigers aren't desperate anymore.
Yeah.
This signing would have made sense last year, start of the season for 6-7 years. We didn't give Tobias Harris a 5-year deal to come here. Those two teams, the Pistons, the Tigers, they're kind of in a very similar situation. All of their foundation is very, very young. And so now you're in a spot where, hey, do we have to go and make this plunge into a multi-heavy dollar contract?
Yeah, we're going to do it.
For a guy that we're not that excited about. But were they going to give 4 or 5? It sounds like it. But once they started being asked for 6 or 7, I'm so proud of Scott and the Tigers for being out on that.
But they weren't, bro. They offered him 6 years, 170.
They did.
It's 170 for 6, huh?
Yes, 176.
Oh, man, I'm so thankful
they
didn't
offered
happen.
him that.
I'm so
now, if
thankful.
you remember, back in the early days, in the early 2000s, who did they offer a contract to?
Juan Gonzalez.
Juan Gonzalez, and thankfully he turned it down.
Yep.
We're going to hope that Alex Bregman is this year's Juan Gonzalez.
I remember Juan Gonzalez deal. It was $160 million.
They went out and got Pudge and Maglio after he said no. Let's see what the Tigers do with that extra $170 million now. They're going to spend some of it.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. It's so funny that you talk about the Tigers and the Pistons being in that same regard. or Tigers. I think the Lions they started it. Like 100%. In terms of the short contracts, we don't believe it. We don't have time to tie ourselves to dead weight and things. And the Lions kind of started that, and this goes back to the conversation where all the front offices in Detroit, they're having conversations. What was successful for you? How were you able to do this? What, like, they're all talking. That's why you're starting to see it happen faster. You can't, like, if you got a model and you see it working, why am I not going to go one building over and say, can I pick your brain on this?
The Red Wings are doing it too. All 4 teams are building the right way.
100%. There was some Lions news. Lions hired a new running back coach, and they moved Scotty Montgomery to wide receiver. The running back coach is Tashard Choice, who actually coached Jahmyr Gibbs at Georgia Tech. He 100% Tashard Choice was a player. I think he's a little before me, but maybe
after you. I think he's after you.
Okay, that's why I don't remember. He's after you, but he coached Jahmyr Gibbs at Georgia Tech. He coached Bijan, as I'm wearing this Texas colors, coached him in Texas. Where are you with...
He's best friends with Kelvin Shepard, your new defensive coordinator. Best friends.
And if that's that type of energy that we're bringing in, I'm all for it. I'm happy, whatever it makes. It's nothing like having someone that knows you, that has a relationship with you and understands what you are. This is huge for Jahmyr Gibbs, and you move Scotty Montgomery to a side, and you keep a coach inside the building that's already been there, I believe.
Yeah, Scotty Montgomery gets moved over. Here's the reason they did this move. First of all, it's a great kumbaya thing with Kelvin Shepard. This kid obviously can coach running backs. Tashard Choice was a running back. He coached a couple of the great running backs of this era in Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson. He comes here. He already fits in. He's part of the family. Scotty Montgomery, who has got an assistant head coach title attached to his wide receiver coach. They're doing that to help him further his head coaching career, because Scotty Montgomery, from all accounts, will be a head coach one day. So Dan Campbell mixes and matches, moves some people around, brings in some guys. John Morton used to be here, comes in. He's the OC. It all comes up under him. This is a whole new thing. We're going to see. I'm so excited to see the new look Lions. They got the same players, but it's going to be fun, man, to watch all this come together. And I think it's going to work. I really believe it will.
No, it definitely will be a new look Detroit Lions with the same squad. Miles, I want to stick with the running back. Excuse me. I want to stick with Jahmyr Gibbs. I want to stick with Tashard Choice.
Montgomery.
But that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
That's why I'm having this conversation. You saw where Jahmyr Gibbs was when the season was over, where there was no Demo. Where do the Lions now go in the backfield to start the season? Is Jahmyr Gibbs the starting running back and Demo comes in and spells? Because the way they did it before, Demo starts the game. Demo gets the engine going. Yeah. He gets the Lions going. They beat up on the people's defensive line, and then here comes Jahmyr Gibbs, drive 2. Yeah. You see what Jahmyr Gibbs is able to do, and then you make the decision.
It worked.
But Ben Johnson's no longer here.
Right, but it worked. It worked. I think they'll keep the same recipe. Now, John Morton supposedly, back in the day, didn't lean on the running game as heavily as he did on the passing game. But I don't think he had a dual back like these guys, like Sonic and Knuckles. So it's going to be very interesting how John Morton runs this squad, because it all is going to come down from him. And don't forget, Dan Campbell's got last say. There was some times that he was calling plays. So I don't think you're going to see a heck of a lot of difference here, at least in my opinion.
I'm defaulting to, in Dan and Brad, I trust. These guys know how to find coaches, and coaches want to coach for them. They want to come to Detroit because, as you mentioned earlier, Detroit is now a destination for coaches that want to make it to be a head coach. I love the fact that they continue to lean on former players versus guys that may not have played at a high level. There's just a familiarity with what guys are going through when you've already gone through it yourself. There's also, as you guys spoke to, the connections between all these different people. I don't care year after year who's in those assisting coach roles for this team, because I believe that Dan and Brad will always get it done right.
What I like about the Scotty Montgomery thing, and then we'll dive into the next, and I'll let you lead him as it relates to a trade situation. Scotty Montgomery. Last season, obviously, you remember Dan at the podium because Dan's our guy. You remember Aaron Glenn at the podium. Not so much Ben Johnson, but you kind of remember Ben Johnson at the podium. The other coach is not named Kelvin Shepard that I remember, Scotty Montgomery. Remember him at the podium. I remember him in the locker room talking about what this team was. I've never seen a team like this in the running backs. Like, I can see why Dan has pushed him into a position to become a coach, because a couple times that I saw him or heard him, I'm like, this is a guy that might have the finger on the pulse and know how to move a locker room. So I think that's a really good move. It makes sense, at least.
He seems on his path to be a head coach in the next 6 years.
Man, talk about a potential situation as it relates to moving some people in Detroit for another player.
Yeah, this is the thing we've all been talking about, and it's not going away.
It won't.
We had Dave Burkett on yesterday, and he spoke about Myles Garrett again. I'm just going to bring his name up again. He is the hottest name out there. We have Anson on. Anson likes to poo-poo all these things that
I'd
are
love
never
to
going to
have
come
him.
true.
I'd love to have him. I just don't think it happens.
Now, we posed that question to Dave Burkett, who follows the team and covers them every day. He did say that would be obviously a recipe for success, and he thinks that Brad Holmes might just do a deal like that to go out and get that one piece remaining. So I'm going to throw a name out at you. We talked about who are you going to sign of these three players? Hutch, J-Mo, Kirby. They're all up. 50-year option for the first two. There is no 50-year option on Kirby Joseph because he was a second-round pick. So here's the kick. You're either going to pay Kirby Joseph or you're going to let him go. Now, we all love Kirby Joseph. He was fantastic. First team All-Pro. Got left off the Pro Bowl. We all stuck up for him. We put him in the other day. He got voted dirtiest player by ML Football. People got their eyes on this kid. We love this kid. But if you bring in a Myles Garrett, if you have two guys making $35 million on your corners, on your ends, what did Amon-Ra St. Brown say in his interview with his brother? Hey, if you get Myles Garrett or Max Crosby, you don't need cornerbacks. We already got a great safety tandem, right? You got Brian Branch back there. Do you put the first-round picks and Kirby Joseph to get Myles Garrett? Just putting it out there to you. Give me your opinion, the chat. Keep it clean. Don't curse at me, okay? Anson, what say you?
I said this when you guys first posed
Can't
that
pay
question.
everybody.
And you said, hey, J-Mo, Hutch, and Kirby, we can only re-sign one. Or two, you guys said. Who you getting rid of? And I said it then, and I'm going to come back to it again now. Who won more games for this team than Jared Goff and Kirby Joseph? The fact of the matter is there's at least 3 games that Kirby Joseph finished.
Yes.
That he sealed the deal for this team. When you talk about ball skills for a member of the secondary, this guy has receiver hands. I mean, led the league in interceptions, and since his rookie year, he's had a nose for the ball. And when you can create turnovers, it's really hard to replace that. You can get a whole slew of young guys and some veterans to try and, hodgepodge some secondary together, and obviously they're going to be next to Branch, so they're going to still look pretty darn good. But I still don't have enough faith in our corners at this point. We don't know who Rakestraw is.
No, we don't.
We think Terrion is a player. He got abused, but
we're not sure.
He grew as the season went by. We don't know. Are they going to franchise Carlton? Are they going to re-sign Carlton? Are they going to bring in, the next CD Deuce, Carlton Davis, 3.0 this year? For me, this is a guy that loves being a Detroit Lion. He is loved by the fan base, and he's feared by other teams. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been voted the most dirty player when he's not even really a dirty player. So to me, listen, you guys are afraid to give up multiple firsts. You're giving up a first-round pick that you know who he is and you know he wants to be here in Kirby Joseph. I know he wasn't a first-rounder, but he would be now if he was drafted today.
We've had this conversation. We've gone back and forth. The only thing I'll say, and we'll get to a commercial break, is I'll say this. You talk about the DBs and the safeties, and this guy does that, and this guy does that. Nobody knew who the hell the DBs and safeties were in San Francisco for a very long time because of how good that linebacker core and those D-line were. They had one cornerback out there, and we actually brought him over here. It was Emmanuel Mosley. So about this, you can replace a safety if you got a defensive talent that you're talking about on that defensive line that helps you win games. So, it's same conversation we've been having, but just look at that point of it. When San Fran was good with Bosa and Armstead, when they bought over Hargraves, and the secondary wasn't necessarily that good, but it didn't get to the secondary because of that rush. So it's a fun conversation that really won't stop having until a move is made by Cleveland on Myles Garrett.
So when we're having this conversation, and I'll ask you both, are we assuming Kirby Joseph for 1 year and a first rounder, a number 28, is enough to get Myles Garrett?
I don't know. It might be two firsts and a Kirby Joseph.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Listen. You might be able to talk me into one first.
You're slam dunking that?
2 first-round picks. What these guys, what Brad and Dan can do with first-round picks, and a guy.
Have they done it yet? When it comes to having a bookend with Hutch, they haven't.
His name's Z. We got him already.
It's not.
Listen,
it's not.
You watch what Z can do when he's got Hutch on the other side.
It's not fair to judge Z off what we've seen, so I will say that. But at the same time, I will say, like,
he's not Myles Garrett. Yeah. I get that. But for me, when you're giving up a guy who's maybe the heart and soul of your defense without Hutch out there. I know I love Branch, my favorite guy on the defense out there, but Kirby Joseph is a real player and a real leader on this team.
I'm just saying there's no fifth-year option for him. That you're going to either have to sign him or you're going to have to move him.
Pay him. My thing is I don't want to give up 2 4 5-year players when I know what Brad and Dan can pull out of the draft with those picks.
It's going to be interesting to see what Kirby Joseph is as a player next year. I always crack jokes about.
I love the kid.
He's a great talent in the last couple of years. But I'm just saying, it's when a team is passing from behind a lot, it's easy to sneak an interception or two here or there. So I really want to see him for a full year. I want to see him with the Lions, 100%. I want to see him in a full year because I think next year is going to be the most trying year for the Detroit Lions. And I think if they stay healthy, the Lions will be the best versions of themselves in the last 5 years. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited to take this commercial break so I can find some chapstick. Pete, tell us about merch.
Yeah, no, that's me telling you about merch, man. It's a new era in Detroit sports. We talk about it all the time, so that means you got to get new merch. And the best merch right now, I'm just going to tell you just honestly, they make me say this, shop.woodwardsports.com. Hoodies, tees, hats, guaranteed to make people turn their head, look like, hey, where'd you get that? I want to get a shirt just like that. I want to get a hoodie just like that. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Get some new merch right now. We'll be right back.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment. from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, a lot of us guys, we know getting your hair cut is a pain in the butt. But at Lady Jane's, they take the chore out of getting your hair cut. They're a talented hairstylist, will deliver that industry-leading haircut you're looking for. You also get the relaxing scalp massage, the hot lathered neck shave, and of course, the hot towel treatment at the end there. They're open 7 days a week. You walk in any time, and they're going to greet you with a smile. Lady Jane Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
It definitely is wicked awesome. Just sitting here on a beautiful Thursday having some conversation. Braylon and Anson, Wells, Tom Mazaway, Ricky, and Pistol.
Getting crushed on the chat here about Kirby.
Sir.
I told you guys,
Kirby
do not
deal?
crush me. I just put it out there for you. Hey, you got to give to get. That's true. Do you want a Hall of Fame guy, Myles Garrett? Then you got to give something up. I have a guy that said, it said Philly. He's like, just Kirby straight up for him. Come on.
Yeah,
you really
right.
think the Cleveland Browns are going to go Kirby Joseph? I mean, come on, man. Come on. First round pick. They've given up 3 of them to get Deshaun Watson. They are desperate for picks. They are rebuilding again. They don't even have a quarterback. They do not have a quarterback. So I don't know what kind of deal you can put together. I just threw it out there saying you can't pay all your guys if you get Myles Garrett. Now, if you don't get Myles Garrett, you can pay all your guys. And just keep drafting and hope you hit a home run. Hope most of these guys stay here. Hopefully, Levi Onwuzurike stays. Hopefully, Carlton Davis comes back. Who is our linebacker from Purdue?
Barnes.
Hopefully, Derek Barnes stays here and doesn't go with Ben or go with Aaron Glenn. Because there's rumors that there'll be some players that are going to leave that you can't pay everybody. They've drafted beautifully. Last year, they took a chance on a few guys. They did. They rolled the dice. They came back with 2 cornerbacks. The 2 corners they got were not the corners that Philly got. Can we say that? Terry and Arnold and Enos Rakestraw are not Quinyon Mitchell and my guy from Iowa.
Yeah, Cooper DeJean. At the end of the day,
they're not those guys.
You have to calm down. Like, you got to calm down. What happens is your team's never been as good. Like, you've never seen a team that's this good, get this far, win this many games, have this many known players, named players, Pro Bowl players. So you're scared. You're like, oh, we can't get rid. They got us here. But this is the NFL. This happens. When I got to the Jets in 2009, we had Kerry Rhodes. Kerry Rhodes, one of the best safeties in the NFL at the time. Kerry Rhodes legitimately made alternate Pro Bowl that year. You look his stats up. Read the stats up in 09. Because 09 is the year that they said Revis could have won it over Charles Woodson. I respectfully disagree just because I'm a Woodson guy, but he really could have. Look at Revis' stats then and look at the stats the next year. Kerry Rhodes made our defense much better. One of the best safeties in the league. And the New York Jets got rid of him because he was due. They traded him to the Cardinals. The Cardinals picked up his contract, paid him an extension, 3 years, $25 million or whatever it is. We lost one of the best safeties in the league. Like that day, we needed Kerry Rhodes. But it is the business. We did not have enough to pay LaDainian Tomlinson. Darrelle Revis' contract was about to come up. DeBrickashaw Ferguson, one of the best left tackles in the game. Nick Mango, who's the best center in the game at that time. There's just not enough money. When you become a good team, you have good players. Those players are going to have to get paid, which means you can't have as many of those players, and you have to figure out the nuances of a team. You know what? All right, since we're going to get this player, we got to move this player. It just comes with the game. But the good news is your squad is that good that this is a problem now. That you're having this problem. So it's an okay thing because guaranteed some players that you have fallen in love with from being drafted and now it's year 3 and you think that sometimes they're going to go because your team is that good, and it is not a bad thing because it means your team is good.
Hey, we might lose my favorite player in Dan Skipper. He might not be able to sign here.
Definitely.
But, you know, these things happen. It sucks. Yeah. Look at 2015, guys. 2016, excuse me. Yeah, 2015. After they lost to the Cowboys in 2014 when they got robbed. They can only keep 2 out of 3. Stafford, Calvin, and Dominican Sue. They let Sue go. They never were the same. Never the same. That's just the way the chips fell.
I'm looking at trades for multiple first-round picks or first, second, thirds and stuff going back to 2016.
Yeah.
And you guys don't have a leg to stand on. I'll be quite honest.
Who is you guys?
I'm talking about all you guys saying that we need to get Myles Garrett in here. That's the piece.
Nobody
because
said
I'm looking at team after team here that have traded for Brandon Cooks and Sam Bradford and Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper, Odell Beckham, Frank Clark. The only
First
one
of all,
listen.
First of all, don't compare anybody in there to who Myles Garrett is.
Okay,
and
Khalil Mack, I can't compare him.
No.
Khalil Mack was doing the same type of stuff.
For one, fine, I give you
Larry
Khalil Mack.
Tunsil, Minka Fitzpatrick, Jalen Ramsey, Stephon Diggs,
Last time I checked,
DeForest Buckner.
once Khalil Mack
Jamal
went to the Bears,
Adams.
they won 12 games.
I'm just telling you, I need you. I asked you this last week.
Yeah.
When I see you
First
guys
of all,
next
you're
week,
arguing with Maz. Like, so don't bring me into it.
He's arguing with you now.
everybody that is desperate to bring in
Nobody's
Myles Garrett.
desperate,
and
man.
They
It's
think
not-
that
it's not
Myles Garrett
desperation.
is the piece
It's
to
not
bring in here. I
desperation.
hear you, Bray.
Yeah,
I'm going to
it's not
challenge you.
desperation.
Next week,
Easy, Stephen
come
A.
in with a player that was traded for 2 first-round picks or more that led to a championship.
AJ Brown.
That was one.
I'm messing with you.
pick.
It's just a joke.
It was
We just
one-
had this conversation.
But now,
I'm trying to ease you off
Frank
your legs.
Clark was the one that you brought up,
Right.
and that one is absolutely the only one that you can really point to. But they gave up a first, second, and third. They got a third back as well as Frank. So it's a first and a
But
second.
also, answer to your point, like to your conversation. See, this is a new thing. So to actually chart data from it isn't fair.
I agree.
This is a new concept.
Well, it's a new concept for the Lions
Two
too.
first. In general, it's a new first round. Excuse me. In general, it's a new concept to just willy nilly give away 2 first rounds for a player. That's more so the last 5, 6 years or so. So there's not a lot of data. You can't go back to 99 or 2005. So it's still a new concept, but there will be some data. There will be some data on the player that you gave up X, Y, and Z, and you were able to turn it around. Because right now, you're right. I don't have a leg to stand on. Like, none of it has worked out. Like, all those franchises have probably actually went the opposite way.
Well,
but at some point, like Maz and Ryan always tell me, at some point, it has to happen. Somebody's going to get it right. And why not the Detroit Lions that have gotten a lot right in the last 4 years?
But that's the thing is, for me, what they've gotten right is using their draft capital.
Yeah.
And being very, very good at developing their own players and being, very careful in who they decide to re-sign. I mean, look at the NBA. Another recent trend in the last 5-10 years of giving up 3, 4, 17 first-round picks for a Rudy Gobert.
That was the
or
dumbest
Donovan.
thing I've ever seen.
Well, look at the teams. Look at where the Jazz are right now. Look at where a bunch of these teams are that have given up these, their best core piece for multiple first-round picks, and they're still toiling in not even mediocrity. So, for me, I want to stick what has worked for this team, and I truly believe that they can go out and make deals for guys like Zadarius Smith that don't break the bank. Listen.
Also, don't get you to the Super Bowl.
Well, this is true.
Aren't you at the point in your life, at the poker game of life in football, where you just push your chips in and say, we're in. We're all in. What do you got?
But who did
we
that
are
work
all
out
in.
for, man?
I'm trading for a guy in his prime that's going to wear a gold jacket. That's what I'm trading for. I'm trading for an instant pass rush. I'm going to the Super Bowl. That's what I'm trading for. You want to play against all these mobile quarterbacks, these young guys. You want to go against Daniels without a pass rush again? Really? You want to give that kid? He was like the Statue of Liberty back there against the Lions.
To be fair, though, we had
they ran out of players. I've said it
all
1,000
4 of
times.
our front guys. The only guy on the front 4 that we had that was any kind of good, we had just traded for.
I know that.
I
know all
so
of that.
I'm very curious to see what this front 4 looks like with a healthy Aleem midseason.
Me too. I would love it if he could come back and be as good. I would love if Levi Onwuzurike can stay healthy for an entire year like he did this past year. I would like to see it. Who's the guy we traded for from the Bengals? Put him in the middle of the DJ Reader. I'd like to see DJ Reader play another year. There was a rumor that they might let him go, and not, there's so much out there. And look, getting 22 guys back, the Lions will be right back where they were. They're going to be fighting for the division, try to win it 3 years in a row, and then win a playoff game like they did the previous year. They won 2 and then gave it their best against San Francisco at the end. Came up short. But this past year, they just ran out of players. And as sucky as that was, I still say, you put your chips in. I believe they are one player away. And I don't think that one player is in the draft at 28. I don't.
It worked for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Philly has been.
They lost in the first round last year.
Philly's been drafting defense for years.
Yep.
We've been drafting offense.
Sure, and this is our year where I think we triple down on defense. We work the free agency market, still coming in with a whole bunch of money, and I look at all the failures of trading multiple first picks, and then I look at a team like Philly with an early round exit last year. They were the team that should have been trading for a big guy, but they didn't. They stuck to their guns. They drafted their future defense, and it won them a Super Bowl.
It did, but don't forget they were at a Super Bowl already, and they won a Super Bowl, and
Oh,
they were at
certainly.
another. Hold on,
Certainly.
we have never been to a Super Bowl. Never.
So
One of 4 teams.
Are you saying SOL?
Only one team in the history of this league that's been in the league since the 40s. It's the Lions. Yes, the Cleveland Browns, but they're not the real Cleveland Browns. The real Cleveland Browns are in Baltimore. This Cleveland Brown team is an expansion team. So the Lions are the only non-expansion team to not make the Super Bowl. Damn it, I want to see them make a Super Bowl. I want to see them win a Super Bowl. And the way they've built this team, they're one of the youngest in the league still. They're not going anywhere. You don't need 2 more freaking first-round rookies. You don't.
I'm on all the first round rookies.
Listen, I would love to, but you got to give to get, brother.
Yeah, I don't think that the price is as low as a lot of people are thinking and hoping. And whatever that price is, I just don't see Dan and Brad doing it. But what I do see in our future is some time to pay some bills.
I got Dr. P here for you. Don't forget, he will join us tomorrow. Usually joins us today, talking about Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join him every Tuesday on Big D Energy. He joins us on Thursdays, sometimes Fridays. Trust the guy, D-Mac and Braylon Trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce here to keep you in the game and playing at your best, performing at your best. Yes, he says for the everyday guy like us as well. Track him out right now. MichiganSportsandSpine.com, 248-426-9944.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won.
David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Hey guys, dreaming of a new home and feeling the financial pinch? Well, Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team are going to pay $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, up to $5,000. That could be in your pocket. Call Mark White and his team today, 248-290-8242. Try him online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, that number, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Maz, I got something that I have wanted to ask you for a while. I probably should save it for Bray, but we talk about it again next week. Do the Detroit Lions need to play outdoors? And I'm going to ask you a trivia question here.
Yes,
How
sir.
many Super Bowl champions
Here we go.
came from an indoor home stadium?
Only a handful.
Less.
I would say 4.
2.
Wow.
And do you know, Ricky,
Saints.
that both of those teams happened to play a Super Bowl at their home field?
What?
Yes.
What?
The Rams.
The Rams. I was about to say Rams.
And you nailed it with
Saints.
the Superdome Saints. So that's wild to me. Because
I brought this up before. The NFC North,
they all should be playing outdoors.
they should. Look, it's nice to walk out of this cold weather and get into Ford Field and it's 70 degrees and it's comfortable. But I love going to outdoor games. When I went to Jersey for the holidays, I went to the Giants and Colts game, took my daughter Lily, went to Giant Stadium, MetLife. And it was a nice day. It was. We got lucky. It was a beautiful day, but I was ready to sit outside in the cold. I enjoy it. I go to Lambeau Field. I think it's the greatest thing in the world. The Bears, Soldier Field, it's fun to go there. Now they want to move to an indoor stadium because they want to host NFL. They want to host Final Fours and other stuff and concerts. And that's the way it's going. Minnesota, they used to play out at the Metropolitan Stadium.
Right.
Outdoors. They were both teams were on the same sideline. The visitors would have the flames there, the heater.
The heater.
Bud Grant would not let Minnesota have a
That's
heater.
crazy.
They went to 4 Super Bowls. They didn't win, but they went to 4 Super Bowls. And I brought this up, man. The teams that are winning are outdoor teams.
Every
that are
one of
tough,
them but 2.
Tough,
And they got to play at home.
tough teams, man, that play outdoors. Yeah, so would I like them to play outdoors? Hell yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would.
So
I'm sorry that I didn't get to go to Tiger Stadium to see him.
Yeah, so I asked this question specifically in regard to our current Lions team. And for 2 different reasons. One, Jared Goff. We all have talked throughout all of last season about how important it was to hold serve and to have home field advantage throughout
He's
the
got to be
playoffs.
comfortable.
Because we don't want Jared Goff playing in January in Philadelphia. We all know that. But then the other thing is we had, I don't know if it was record-setting, but it had to be close to it in terms of the amount of players that we lost to injury. Now, I can't go through
That was the
now
record.
and say how many of those were on turf, but we've heard a lot of players talk about what it's like to get tackled at Ford Field versus on real grass. So, if this team is playing on grass in an outdoor stadium, do you have a different quarterback, one, and B, are you healthier?
Well, last year we can't compare it because last year they went undefeated.
I was just about to
On the
say,
road.
didn't golf play really good
That's a very
outdoor
good
last
point.
year?
They did, but they didn't hit any cold spells. They went outside to Chicago.
Yep.
It wasn't really freezing, and they
Well,
won that game. They didn't win it. They didn't win it decisively, but they won that game. And last year's team was different, man. Last year's team, if they didn't have the injuries, I wouldn't have cared if they went on the road. Honestly, that's how much confidence I had in them, even in Jared Goff, until I saw that Philadelphia pass rush. And I'll tell you right now, the Rams had them on the ropes. Sean McVay coached a hell of a game in that game. They should have won that game. Matthew Stafford's taking them down the field. He took them down there for 3 fourth-quarter scores, 2 fourth-quarter scores. The third one would have won them the game. They got down to the 15-yard line. They had a bad penalty, and they had a sack. They gave up a sack. Without that, Philadelphia loses that game, and the Rams would have been the Super Bowl champs this year. They would have been. They would have beat Washington.
That's interesting.
And they would have beat the Chiefs.
So I will go ahead and give you the fact that I think fully healthy defense, our Detroit Lions get past the Washington Commanders. My question for you now is, after watching this Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles team play the way that they did, especially against Kansas City on a big stage,
They crushed them.
my question is a fully healthy Lions team, were they good enough to beat this Philadelphia team?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
The Lions' offense was like nothing that the Philadelphia defense went against. That Lion offense could have still put up, I think, 30 points.
Do we have Zadarius still in this scenario?
We still have him.
Yeah.
We still have him.
Then I say yes.
Okay.
Hutch and Zadarius together, I think we're good. I think we get through it.
I can't give you a truly honest answer because my fandom is wanting me to say the Lions, but what I saw out of Philly was a team that not one of those 31 were beaten those last 3 weeks.
No, and not only that, if they got to Patrick Mahomes, you know they could have got to Jared Goff.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Now, the Kansas City offensive line was not as good as the Lions' offensive line. But, again, wearing down towards the end of the year, it just seemed like Philadelphia just peaked at the right time, didn't it?
Yeah.
They turned it on at the
yeah.
right time, and
100%.
they peaked. And the Lions, they ran out of gas.
Yeah, and you're looking at that offense with Jalen Hurts at the helm. I can't say the Lions' offense was better than theirs. The running games are equal. Their passing games are equal. Their offensive lines are equal. Now you got to look at those two defenses and a fully healthy Detroit Lions defense. I'm not sure that they were as good as what we saw defensively for Philadelphia. But I think that, we've talked the last couple of years about good losses. I think that the San Francisco loss was harder than we want to give it credit. And it really was a difficult thing.
Oh, man.
So this one, though, this feels like what happened to Philly last year.
This
I'm
Washington loss to me, it was worse than the San Francisco loss.
I agree.
And I only mean that because it just gutted me.
Yeah.
The Lions, when they lost the 49ers, and I said that was the worst year because how close they were to getting to the Super Bowl, but at least they played well in that game.
Yeah.
They played their worst game of the year at the most important time of the year. That's why the offense really, they didn't have it that day. And you could blame it on Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn and anyone you want. They just didn't have it. And Goff was concussed in the second half. There's not a question about it.
All right. Well, we're coming up to the end of the show. I got a question for each one of you guys before we finish up for the day.
What's up?
Ricky.
What's up?
We got the NHL All-Star Weekend and we got the NBA All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
You only get to watch one event.
Okay.
Which one is it?
NBA, because I'll actually know what's going on.
Well, which one? Are you watching Saturday night?
Oh, which event?
Are you watching the dunk
got
contest?
you.
Are you watching the Rising Stars? Are you watching the All-Star Tournament?
Wait a minute. I want to let you guys know something. On Saturday night, when it's NBA All-Star Saturday night, the NHL is trotting out U.S.-Canada.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right? Both at the same time.
For America, I got to go with the game. I want to see this new format, so I got to go with the game. And it's going to be
You're not seeing the game, Ricky. You're seeing the NBA All-Star game is Sunday. The All-Star Saturday night.
But no,
the
you only
dunk
get
contest.
one
It's so
all
layered.
weekend.
He said
you're busy, you're babysitting, whatever it is.
So I can only choose one of the
Only
games.
Well, no, I'm not. Either the tournament or
Got you. The tournament.
Yeah.
I'm watching the NBA tournament.
On
I want to
Sunday.
see. Yeah, I want to see this new format. See if it spices it up. I want to see that.
What about you, Pete?
Tell you what, man, I want to see the. I'm a hockey guy, so I'm going to be watching the hockey. That's. But if I have to choose one, it's going to be the tournament.
Yeah, on Sunday?
Yes, I do like the
I
tournament
love
on
that.
Sunday.
Maz, I'm going to save you for last. You guys already know what it is for me. I get to watch J-Dub, Killer Cade, and Ant-Man show the league and put them on notice. I cannot wait for that. What about
Give me
you, my
USA Canada on Saturday night.
Attaboy.
I'll be locked and loaded.
USA.
There you go.
USA.
Hey, man, Miracle on Ice time is here again, guys.
Yeah.
Miracle on Ice team is here again.
Fantastic.
February 22nd. Always remember that date.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Fantastic.
Have a great day, guys.
Yep. Appreciate you, chat.
Hey, we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Ryan will be back. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you next week, Anson.
Bring it back.
You're watching Woodward Sports with Ermanni and Edwards and Maz and Anson. See you guys.